Hello, this is Javier Rivera and welcome back to my channel. A few days ago, my friend Chris Torrence from Assembly Lines podcast set up a very nice video about telling your story.
I thought it might be a fun thing to do a tell your own story. So basically, how did you get started in retrocomputing? What was the first computer that you had as a kid? And then what got you back into the hobby years later? So I'll go ahead and I'll start out this episode and give you my story. But what I'd like you to do is to send me your story.
So actually that's what I'm gonna do in this episode. So let's start. So here it is, my story on how I started on the Apple II computer. This goes back years and years ago. I think it all began in a summer morning in a castle surrounded by magical animals. Oh no, wrong story. It actually began in Mexico City, with a father that worked for Sperry Univac. My dad used to travel a lot to the US, and he used to bring us, me and my brother, gifts, all kinds of gifts, sometimes electronic gifts. So he brought us a Pong, and later he got us a TI-99 4A. So for years I was using that machine. But later, he actually, he split it with my mom and he moved to the US to work. So my brother and I were asking him all the time for Apple IIs because all our friends had Apple IIs and we were really envious. They were really nice computers and, trendy stuff between nerds. So finally he sneaked actually the computer to Mexico, because at that time there was a lot of import restrictions. So he sent it out, hidden with some friends and something like that, an Apple IIc, just the machine and the power supply. So, oh no, this is Apple IIe. What am I doing? Yeah, this is a lot better. I got starting off my Apple IIc, and basically when my dad sent us this machine, I was mad. I was just pissed. I was like, I wanted an Apple II. This is not an Apple II. This is a very small machine. It doesn't even have a floppy drive. What's going on? It's white. The Apple IIs are, brown, and they are big, and they have this big keyboard, all that. So finally, we were talking to him and say, Dad, you sent the wrong computer. I say, no, it's all there. Overnight, I had a better machine than my friends had, a smaller machine, and a modern machine. You gotta remember, back in this time in Mexico, you used to get news like 4 to 5 months later. So actually, we heard about the Apple IIc after the fact. He bought it like 2 months after it came out, and he liked it because he was gonna buy an Apple IIe, but he saw it on the store, and he said, it's almost the same price, and it's smaller. I can actually send it out easier than a bulky Apple IIe. So it was really a win-win situation for us. We began to play with it. We had to connect it to a TV set because we didn't have any monitors. It was expensive over there, and sending things, it was kind of difficult. So we have to put it on a TV screen, and of course we had to share between we watch TV and we use the computer. So we were just using a little bit and then watching TV and so forth. But we saw color all the time. Since the beginning, we couldn't see 80 columns a lot because it was all blurry, of course. But we started to play games and we started to use basic programs and do a little bit of basic. And that's when a friend of mine told me, oh, you got an Apple II. You know what? I got a friend who has an Apple II and he's really good. So he called his friend and we just dropped to his house. He took me to his house. And he's my mentor, the guy who really taught me all about Apple II. His name was Diego Montones. He was the guy that really showed me all the tricks, all the good stuff about Apple IIs. and we began to do a lot of trading. That was actually really fun, because what we did is we actually contacted this guy from the newspaper. He advertised in the newspaper, and he told, you wanna trade software? It said in the newspaper, so call me. You call him, and he will go to your house, open the trunk of his car, and he has boxes, one for Commodore, one for Atari. You will take the Apple II box and take it with him inside the house. We begin to compare which ones we had, and he said, okay, which one you want? This, and we gotta do the same. I want to copy the same amount for you, and we begin hours and hours of copying software. So it was weird, but at the same time it was fun. And also at that time my dad bought a used Apple II from a guy, and with it came crates with copied pirated software. And overnight I became one of the biggest owners of pirated software in Mexico. I had the latest, and I had a lot. That was part of the fun, going to some other guy's house and begin to swap software. After that, of course, I got home back from school, go to the computer, either do some basic, but mostly I actually was playing games. Once there was this guy, I don't remember his name, but we used to trade software, like I told you, and I love Beagle Brothers. I loved so much Beagle Brothers that I started saving money from my summer work and send it to my dad so he could buy me some Beagle Brothers software. So I have original software that I bought when I was a kid, and I still have a couple of them that I used to just save money just to buy the Beagle Brothers, because I don't only like the software itself, but I loved the presentation, the booklets, all the information. It was so good. So the software was just part of it, but the whole design and everything was really, really nice. And I remember I traded, I think it was Beagle DOS Boss. It was DOS Boss. And when you go to copy software, you go to the house of this guy, and then he shows you what he has, and then what you do is just boot it and see what it has, the floppy has. So then you copy it and then go away. So he booted this DOS Boss for me, and I said, perfect, this is it. And we copy it, and copy to plus blah blah. When I go home, I put my DOS Boss, and everything shows up, and then when I begin to play and type it, everything is an error. What happened? This guy, he wanted to cheat, and he cheated by just copying track 11. So the catalog would show, and the catalog would show all the information, but the rest of the drive or the floppy was empty. So he did it just to be, to have an advantage over you, and to feel that, I cheated him. I gave him something bad for something good. So of course that was the last time I traded with that guy, but I was really pissed, but now that I think about it, it was funny that guy did it to me. What brought me back to the Apple II scene? Well, a few years ago, from Apple II I jumped to Macintosh, and I always use Mac for my work, and I use it for everything. So a few years ago I saw Charles Mangin on a website. I saw his project. He put a Macintosh, I think it was a Mac Mini, inside an Apple IIc case, and it was so good, it was so nice. And he adapted the green monitor, so everything looked very nice and worked. It was a Macintosh on a Apple II case, even in an Apple II green monitor, and I like it so much that I say I want to do that. So I went online, of course, to eBay, and I bought an old Apple IIc. When I got it, it was all yellowed, all ugly, and I was so amazed that it booted and it worked that I just couldn't. I say, you know what, I cannot gut this thing and put a Mac inside, because this works and this is beautiful and it's what I used to have. So what I did is I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna clean it and make it look and work like when it was brand new. And that's when I learned how to retro write, and all hell broke loose. Now I have tons of Apple IIcs. I have lots of Apple IIs. I have software, books, everything. I have issues. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this. And Chris, this is your answer. Hope you like it, and we'll be talking. See you next time. So, oh no, this is Apple IIe. What am I doing?